Hello everybody and welcome to Creativity Time. My name is Tatiana. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Australia, and Creativity Time is where I create something in hope that I'll inspire you or teach you or inspire, what else? I don't know what other words to use, but basically inspire, and maybe you'll learn something new in the lovely world of paper crafting, specifically stamping cards. It's been an exciting week here. The new 2023 to 2024 annual catalogue has gone live and I can finally show the inside. I've decided not to do a catalogue walkthrough, but I will be casing the catalogue today. So that's where you pick a project and copy, copy and share everything. There we go, I got it. There's a few different ways of using that acronym, but that's the one I know. Anyhow, so I've picked a sample using the new Crafting with You bundle. I fell in love with this and had to have it. And there's a card in here that I really love, and I thought it would be fun to create that card. But we're going to use a little bit of other products, so I'm not going to use the same DSP. So anyhow, bear with me, I'm going to flip, but... Okay, awesome. So here is the opened catalogue, the annual catalogue, as I've said, the 2023 to 2024, and I'm on page 91, and it's the Crafting with You bundle, which was a $1 million stamp set achiever. And the card that I would like to case tonight, or today, I don't know why I said tonight, is this one right here. I absolutely adore this little trimmer, and I love the little Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and it's just sending you a handmade hug. It's just so cute. But instead of the DSP that's in the card, I'm going to be using this DSP, which is the Hello Irresistible DSP, which is in the, what's it called? Online exclusives. And these are the sheets that I've picked for it. I thought that geometric pattern, so if I bring in the sample, it's got that stripy bit, and I've got the geometric. Anyway, we will use that, but I haven't cut anything. I've got a card base, and I've got things on top of my card base, which was not very clever. There. I've got a basic white card base. I like to use basic white thick for my card bases because they stand up and hold better than the standard basic white. And first I'm going to trim. I'm going to trim this down to 10.5. Oops, I want more of that yellow in. Now, good thing I thought about that. 10.5. This one to 10.5, because that's the width of my card base. 10.5, 10.5, and I'm using this side with the leaves, this one at 10.5 as well. Okay, so I've got all my bits trimmed, and now I need to cut, well, I don't have to cut the diagonal on these two really, as long as, though it would probably be better. Let's start with this one. I'm going to do some measuring. So I'm going to measure and mark with a pencil. There's a pencil. I'm going to go 2 centimeters down and 4 centimeters. Okay, and now I'm going to cut along that angle. Yes, I am happy with that angle. Okay, and I need a strip. Let's make it 1 inch. So about 2.5 centimeters. So I want the strip to be even, so I'm lining it up onto the guide on the cutting on my paper trimmer, and there we go. So that's going to create that diagonal, and I will need to cut the diagonal on these. So with this one, I need the diagonal. So we want the 4 centimeters along this side, and it was 2 centimeters on the other side, and trim that. And there. And then, ooh, Lost Lagoon. I didn't think about that. Sorry, talking to myself. And then I want the angle here. So again, 2 centimeters, the smaller one on this side. Actually, I'm going to do it this end, because I want more of that yellow. Well, actually, I want it somewhere around there. So the other option is, once you've got your one piece, you can use the ruler to draw the line. And hope that it's in the right spot. There we go. And put that aside for a moment. And I like that. I really like the way that height has worked out. So I'm going to keep that as is, and I'm going to stick it down. I'm happy with it, so just adhere it down. Better make sure that is the card base. And there. And then this one, I need to trim it just about there. But I'm just going to trim it slightly more, just because it's going to be covered up. The joint is going to be covered up, and so I don't want to have any bits that don't. So I'm going to flip that over and stick that down the other way. And the reason why I'm flipping it is so that I can tap that and know that it's going to be flush with the top edge of my card base. Oop. Except it wasn't quite flush. Oop. Let's try again. Yeah. Don't know what happened there. It's too tacky. There. Now it's flush. There we go. Perfect. And now the center strip. Ta-da! So I have the layout of the card happening from the catalogue, a different DSP. And then they have, in this one, they've used the dies as well, which are super cute. Here they are. Oops. And they've used this little ruler die to cut out a bit. And I think I'm going to cut that out in Lost Lagoon. That'll sit beautifully along there. How perfect is that piece? Yeah. So bring in Mini Bailey. And what I like about this die, it die cuts and embosses all in one go. Ooh. So if I bring that up, you should be able to see the cute embossing. Isn't that adorable? And now the way they've done it to fit across is they've actually cut it in half and then put it bits on each side. So I'll do that once we have our bits all there. And then I'm going to grab my Lost Lagoon ink pad and I'm going to stamp the mini stamp or the Stamp and Cut Emboss machine in Lost Lagoon. And I'm going to grab some basic white for that. And being a photopolymer, I prefer to have a matte underneath just to give it that little bit of padding to get that better even impression. What's that full strength? No, I definitely want the full strength one. So I think the ink is still a little too juicy. So if I push some away with a clear block and re-ink that there, I'll get that perfect in between. So if your ink pads are too juicy, you're going to get this more ink blotted look and you're losing a little bit of the detail, but then the stamped off version is a little too light. By pushing the ink, so all I did was take one of our clear blocks. The edges are nice and smooth and I've just pushed the ink. So there is a tiny bit of ink on my clear block, but I'm not losing that much. The majority of the ink that I've got on the ink pad is still sitting there and it'll eventually just flow back by natural means. So you're not wasting that ink, because other people have recommended, the other method, should I say, is blotting out the ink pad on a piece of paper or a piece of paper towel, but you're losing that ink. So by doing it this way, you're keeping that ink there, you're not wasting your ink, but you get to have that better imprint. So that's a tip. This is particularly with new ink pads, they can come a little bit extra juicy. So I'm just trimming this out so that I can die cut it out. And bring in the coordinating die. I like to use a little bit of post-it note tape to keep my die positioned. Could also use some washi tape. And bring in mini, isn't this fun? I'm cutting out a die cutting machine with a die cutting machine. Oh, I'm such a goofball. So that is me. Okay. And the other element that's in this card, is it's got the mini trimmer, and I wasn't sure what color I wanted, so I've already pre-cut some 4 options. I did think the pebbled path might be fun because that's kind of close to the actual color of the trimmer, and with this color palette it could actually work quite nicely. And hold on, let me find the right. And then I've got my little piece of basic white to put through it. So that's Pebbled Path. I'm really liking that actually. I might even go with that. But let's check out the other colors I did since I cut them out. And this is Sweet Sorbet. Because, oh, so, you know, why copy what's real? Let's make it very colorful. That's all right. Let me know in the comments which one you preferred. This one's a Melon Mambo. And the new Bubble Bath. Love this color. Oh, I like that too. Ooh. What do you think? I know there's some people watching live. Might be a bit shy, but I promise I don't bite, particularly over the internet. It's hard to bite. That's right, I'm not a biter, never was. But I think the Pebbled Path, one of our new in colors, works best for me. I'm going to go with Pebbled Path. And then the other question is what color for the little trimmy bit. And I like the idea of Sherry, there we go. You agree with me, Pebble Path. Yep. Should we go with Melon Mambo little trimming blade or... Well, let's do both. Like we have two trimming blades and then one's dark and one's light. We could do both. Is that crazy? I kind of like it. I'm going to go with yes. And now we're going to stamp the sentiment. So let's move all those bits. And where did my stamp and pierce? 2 would be great. Excellent. Thank you, Sherry. It's always nice to have someone to coordinate with you. And I'm going to take Melon Mambo. Bring in that pink a little bit more for the sentiment. So sending you a handmade hug, which is a fabulous sentiment. And one I have not used yet, so perfect. Clear block. And because I haven't used this one, I'm just going to take my chamois and give it a bit of a rub. Sometimes there's a little bit of leftover residue from the creation of photopolymer stamps. So I don't want, and that just prevents it from a nice stamp, even stamping. So I just want to give myself that best impression I can. How beautiful did that stamp? Though I feel as if that's a little bit crooked. So I'm going to flip that. The impression is good though. And try again. There. And let's put it through our little trimmer again. How cute is it? It's so adorable. And we want it trimmed down to about yay. So now I'm going to take my real trimmer. Woot woot. So cute. Okay, so I'm going to position that. And I love, like, the die cut has the embossing. It is fabulous, Terry, isn't it? Such a great bundle. So we should thank Million Sales Achiever Irene for this wonderful concept. And I'm just going to lift up that and add some glue to the trimmer to stick down our bit. So for those wondering, I cut this at 4 centimeters. I just simply measured what would fit in that slot. 4 centimeters, 1.5 inches would be good for those in the US. Okay, so now let's stick down our little trimming blades. Just grabbing my take your pick tool. So I'm gonna stick the light one down first. Oh, that's not helpful. Okay. Take note of the direction there. So I can see the direction of the little, because that bit, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but that bit has a little groove so that, oh, hold on. Ours go this way on the trimmer. Should I put it that way? But in the picture, they've got it up and down. I don't think it massively matters, but I'm going to go sideways just for something different. So I'm adding a little bit of glue. This is a great way to add little details on your projects. The Take Your Pick tool allows you to pick them up, add some glue, and then stick them down without too much trouble. So it's not just for embellishments. You can stick little bits as well. Okay, so we've got our trimmer And then we've got our die cutting machine, which we can stick down now. And before we stick down our die, oh yes, we've got to take our ruler. So I feel like mine's a lot bigger. I need to trim this a bit. It's just taking up a little bit too much space. So I'm gonna just trim that down. Trim that down. Not that that's going to make a huge difference, but a little bit. And then, since I'm a bit lazy to get my scissors out, I'm just going to cut that little ruler die cut in half. And it's going to go along the edge of our DSP there. Perfect. That's good. So again, I'm going to use the take a pick tool. That will save me some sticky fingers. Sticking it close to that edge. And this one, and making sure I've got the cut edge in the middle. There. Perfect. And before we stick this one down, there they have a linen bow, which I did like. So I've got my linen twine right here, and we need to tie a biggish bow because it's quite a big element. So we want to be able to see it. Too big. There. And where are my snips? So trim that. And I'm going to use a glue dot to place that onto a glue dot. And then I can use the pointy end of the take your pick tool to pick that up. And it's going to go about there. Hi Ida, thanks for joining me. Oh, I'm glad you love it. It is such a cute set. And I'm liking these colors. That paper that I'm using, which is the iridescent, is just, you're not going to see that that's twisting when we put this down. So it's okay. And I'm going to put that on dimensionals just because we do have that bow. And so it does need a little bit of height. So 1, 2, need a new sheet. 3, 4, and I think 1 in the middle. There. We go. My bow's not quite even, but it doesn't matter. And there's no embellishments on the original, but I'm going to add some because I can. It's my card. And I think I'll add the iridescent pearls. If I can find them. There, I have a few left. These are so pretty. Ooh. And I'll put 3 down here. There. I like a little bit of bling. do you know what? We haven't decorated the inside or the envelope. So you're stuck with me for just a bit longer. Grabbing an envelope, one preferably. There we go. And I'm just going to grab some grid paper. Trying to use up the grid paper that was used a little bit but still has. It is a great card, isn't it? I mean, totally didn't come up with the design. It's in the catalogue. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just showing you how you can make things your own. You can create your own version of things. So I'm going to put the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine right there on the envelope. And even though it's a white card base, I'm still going to use a basic white card insert because we have put quite a bit onto the card front. So we've covered the entire thing. We've got all these elements. So that makes the front a little bit heavy. So by adding a card insert in the inside, it will just balance that weight. And we'll put the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine right there. Love the Lost Lagoon colour. I was just reading, Sarah Douglas just shared some fun facts about the new colours, and Lost Lagoon has been the most popular returning colour so far. Bubble Bath, which is the light pink that I've used for the little trimmer, or it could be the embossing blade, is the most popular new colour. And Boho Blue is the most popular new in colour. And we've used Pebble Path from the In Colour collection, which I am running my In Colour club. So if you're interested, I'll put the link in the video description shortly and you'll be able to check that out. You'll be able to collect all five, not four, of the new In Colours with that. That is the card. Here it is one more time. How pretty is that? I love the little trimmer. Like, how cute is that? The set is adorable. It comes with some wonderful crafting sayings. I'm just trying to find the cover of the stamp set. So we used Sending You a Handmade Hug. I really love Life is Better When You're Crafting. And then there's You Inspire Me as well, and With Love. Such a fabulous set and fantastic die set. Highly recommend it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll be back with another crafting session next week at 10 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time here in Australia. Bye for now.